Hey, hey, it's the 13th of May.
Hey, it's the 13th of May.
I thought of that rhyme right before you pressed record.
Very good.
I was like, I'm going to say this rhyme. It's going to be like authentic in the moment. And
So you feel proud of yourself.
Well, it's never as authentic when you have it planned ahead of time, you know?
Yes.
Okay, well, welcome to the Daily Stoic.
But then when you say something not authentic, then you might sound stupid. So if you say something like you think it's like, oh, this is going to be authentic. You're going to say it. Now it's like, what are you saying? That doesn't make sense.
If the Stoics are teaching me anything, it's that things need to go through a filter. So
then you did.
So I was authentic.
You were authentic. Yeah.
I just wasn't maybe like the moment I wasn't joined up exactly with the moment.
No, you were actually authentic, but you were not careless about what comes. You actually processed it somehow.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Alrighty, my friend, welcome. We are going to talk about today fueling the habit bonfire.
Okay. So
I like the visual.
Keep your habits going. Probably good habits, not the bad habits.
Yeah. Okay. Epictetus. You look like you are thinking about a joke.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
No, I'm just smiling.
You look like you have an inappropriate joke on your mind.
Oh, wow. Fair enough. That's.
I was just curious. Okay. Epictetus says, every habit and capability is confirmed and grows in its corresponding actions, walking by walking and running by running. Therefore, if you want to do something, make a habit of it. If you don't want to do that, don't. But make a habit of something else instead. The same principle is at work in our state of mind. When you get angry, you've not only experienced that evil, but you've also reinforced a bad habit, adding fuel to the fire. I love it. May we go sentence by sentence?
Yeah.
Every habit and capability is confirmed and grows in its corresponding actions, walking by walking and running by running.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to do things. Like that's the way of learning about it, because there's sometimes such that impasse of I will be thinking about something and thinking feels like I've already done a lot of work just to think about the thing, you know? It feels like sometimes it is just a lot of work to think about doing the habit. And so this is
Sometimes I would say majority of the time thinking about the habit is a lot harder than the actual doing the thing that you need to go do.
Right.
If you really compared it, like a lot of times I'm surprised. I go back and I was like, what? Like this is what I was not want to do for so long? Like this is silly, right?
Yeah.
Or something.
Therefore, if you want to do something, make a habit of it. If you don't want to do that, don't, but make a habit of something else instead. I like that he's calling that out with it's like the recipe of if I don't want to do it, the task is not just to say, well, don't do it, Brentan. Like the task is to say, okay, don't, but now immediately shift onto what am I doing instead? So like if I don't want to drink alcohol, let's say, anymore, now it's like, okay, what am I doing instead? That's interesting because I think and now it's like it has to be on a moment by moment basis in a sense. Because if I don't want to drink alcohol right now, let's say this evening, let's say we go out and it's like, well, I don't want to do that. Okay, so what am I going to do instead? It's like almost every instance needs that like conscious thought around it. It's not like I can just, sometimes I want these things to be like a set it and forget it type of thing. And so then this is...
Like you just flip the switch once and then now it's on.
and now the lights are on.
Yeah, no, that's how it works.
So now it's like literally every time there's something that I'm habituated to do, but I no longer want to do it, I have to think, okay, what am I doing instead? The same principle is at work in our state of mind. When you get angry, you've not only experienced that evil, but you've also reinforced a bad habit, adding fuel to the fire. This is interesting to me because we've heard them talk about good and evil a few times, I feel like in the past couple of weeks, and we've been very confused of, the subjective definition being so different for everyone. What do they mean by good and evil? And so it's interesting to me here that he's calling out an evil and he's saying anger. So it's almost as if the things that are evil are like the things within our experience that are, I don't even know how I would categorize that. Okay, I'm feeling good about this.
Yeah. Same. Yeah, great. Yeah, keep good habits going and replace bad habits with something else.
Okay, let's see what Ryan says.
Oh, before you say that, the one thing that was coming up was kind of like the this is actually Seinfeld was saying this, and I'm sure he has it from somewhere. But that if you have something that you have scheduled to do and you go over there and you don't want to do that, then you cannot do that. But you cannot also do anything else. So it's almost like you can kind of like hey, I was supposed to go do write. Let's say I was supposed to go write, but I'm not feeling like writing, so I'm gonna go watch TV. That is what you're not supposed to do. You're supposed to go like, hey, I don't feel like writing, but this time was scheduled for writing, and therefore I cannot do anything else. So, but I'm not writing either. So, okay, then I can just sit here and not write, but I cannot go do anything else. And I think that there's something about that if you do this couple of times, all of a sudden I notice that like you sit there for a little bit and then maybe 2 minutes later you're like, okay, like let me see if I can try again or something. Like you kind of go back to what you're supposed to be doing if you don't leave. If you stay with it, aka say I cannot do anything else, like music, like I'm supposed to practice something. Well, I sit there, I'm like, I don't really want to do it. Okay, well, if you don't want to do it, then you can just sit here, but don't go do other things, right? And then 2 minutes later, I'm like, okay, let me try play something else. So I'm playing something else, but I'm still doing something with this, with that time that I said that what I will want to do with that time.
Yeah, a lot of writers have that policy with themselves of like, this is my time to write. I don't need to write, but I'm not allowed to do anything else. And that includes, the hard thing is holding myself to that. The distraction, then the distractions are like, because some distractions feel very small or I don't notice them, that they are actually distractions, But yeah, I remember that point from his podcast from Seinfeld talking with Tim. Yeah. Okay, cool. Here's what Ryan says. We are what we repeatedly do, Aristotle said. Therefore, excellence is not an act, but a habit. The Stoics add to that we are a product of our thoughts. Such are your habitual thoughts. Such also will be the character of your mind, Marcus Aurelius put it. Think about your activities of the last week, as well as what you have planned for today and the week that follows. The person you'd like to be, or the person you see yourself as. How closely do your actions actually correspond to him or her? Which fire are you fueling? Which person are you becoming?
You have something?
I think the main thing that I'm kind of connecting with right now is that our thoughts, and how I perceive situations, it's all habitual and it's all part of it. And it's so easy to want to just let myself off the hook for a lot of things and think that I am already the person who has their act together, and I don't know what it is about the human brain. I imagine that this is probably a psychological thing where I actually perceive myself based on my intentions. I intended to do this good habit. I intended to wake up early this morning and exercise and do this and that and this other thing. And that counts for something in my head. But then this calls into question that hey, that's really not worth anything. And what's actually worth something is, did I do that? Did I actually wake up early? Did I actually exercise the right way? Did I actually do all of these things? Because that's the only way that I'm going to turn into the person that I want to become. And I have that person. I feel being pulled towards being someone.
Do you thank yourself for being that person when you do that?
Do I thank myself? In a certain way. I don't, in my mind, it's not like I'm saying, oh, thank you, Brenty. But I'm enjoying myself more. I'm more calm. I'm more at peace with who I am.
I feel if I don't say that to myself, hey, you're that's good that you woke up this morning and exercised, that's good that you did that. If I don't do that, I will, I have to reward myself verbally for doing something that I said that I will want to do, and when I accomplished it, I want to reward myself. Not reward myself with crazy things, just by nice.
Yeah.
Recognizing that moment of when the not accomplished became accomplished or something, right? When it's done, you're so it's done. It feels great. There's because I feel if we don't, and a lot of people do many things, and they don't have this ritual of kind of reflecting on they did a great job with it. It just seems then monotonous or something. There's no really why, what's the reason then? Why should I go do the next thing, right? I actually like that oh, well, why? Well, because it's that's my goal, but also I get this reward. I feel good when I finish something. It feels it's that.
There's a general sense of satisfaction.
I have to have a long-term goal and a short-term goal, because those short-term goals are the rewards points.
I guess now it's it's to the point where a lot of my habits have been in place for 6 months or more than 6 months, that they feel good. At first, it doesn't feel good to start something new. That's when it's the motivation, the self-praise, and there's definitely a lot of pep talk that happens during that period when I'm trying to jumpstart it. But now the habits feel they're enjoyable in and of themselves, so I look forward to doing it, and then afterwards I feel really good. And it's no longer this thing where I need to have a conversation with myself around like doing it, because it's just life feels better. It doesn't feel like I'm at this deficit that I'm trying to work up to, and so like I have my better self, on the outside of the hole pulling me up, like, good job, you can do it, come on. Like I was doing that, for a while, but yeah, if something's really hard or something's really new, then yeah, there's a lot more self-talk that sort of goes into the getting the whole thing started.
Cool. Good?
I'm good.
All right.
Alrighty. Well, have a good day, everyone. Not everyone, you're just you right there. Have a good day, you. See you tomorrow.